Okay. Thanks for the opportunity. So my name is Jerry Asangba, Head of Managed Investments and Advisory at Standard Chartered. It's a honor to be here. I've learned a lot from previous speakers in terms of creation, talking about agriculture and until talking about the creative industry. Okay, so what you missed was me telling you that I'm here to tell you a few stories, and hopefully we should be able to create some wealth out of the stories I will tell. I am saying this being very mindful of the risk of attempting to tell stories in an event where Uncle Ebo White is also present. The thought of it alone can make anybody feel weak in their knees, but I'll do my best. So I woke up this morning with what seemed like a dilemma. A dilemma because I also have an invite from the Office of the President to participate in the National Blue Economy Summit currently happening at Movenpick Hotel. Then also I have the invite to be here to speak to your good selves. So that looked like a dilemma to me. But the decision to come here came to me very easy because I work in an institution where wealth creation and protection are very high on our agenda, and I'm talking about Standard Chartered. And it is because of this that the bank set up a new subsidiary, which was outlawed last year in October, called the Standard Chartered Wealth Management Limited. And the purpose of this subsidiary is to focus more on the wealth needs of our clients in terms of investment and in terms of insurance and everything that you do with wealth. Okay. Thank you. So that's my first story. So I decided to come here. And like I said, I've learned a lot from the previous speakers in terms of wealth creation in the real economy, agribusiness, creative arts, and so on and so forth. Now, the second story is yesterday at exactly 1:51 p.m., I got a notification, like we all do, many notifications, but this one is very important. I got a notification on my iPhone, and this notification was about a company called NVIDIA. NVIDIA, yesterday, the share price went up 4%, and by that, they got themselves into the league of extraordinary companies where their value as a company went up to $1 trillion. $1 trillion. As of yesterday, 1:51 p.m., I got a notification. What does NVIDIA? NVIDIA is one of the biggest companies in the world when it comes to the production of microchips that you find in our mobile phones, in the iPad I'm using right here, in your vehicle control board, in the TV screens, everything we do in this world today, some chip in there, your TV, everything. And I heard someone also spoke about AI. So on the back of the AI revolution, AI taking over, ChatGPT and whatever, NVIDIA rode on the success of AI to hit $1 trillion. Now the question is NVIDIA alone in this $1 trillion club? No, certainly no. The first company to hit $1 trillion by market capitalization is Apple. On 2nd August 2018, Apple became the first company ever, in the US at least, to hit $1 trillion by market capitalization. I'm telling stories, but I hope I'll bring it home so that we see how we can create. So, what is market capitalization actually? Market capitalization, a big terminology, but what it means simply, take a company's share price, the share price of a company, multiplied by the number of shares that a company has. Whatever you find is the company's market capitalization. So let's take it, for example, that Jerry Asangba Limited is a traded company, for example, and I have 100,000 shares in circulation, which everybody here can buy. Let's say Nana is one of the share company, and she holds 10% share. Now, if I have 100,000 shares in circulation and probably each share traded 1 cedi, then 1 cedi multiplied by my 100,000 shares means that Jerry Asangba Limited is worth 100,000 cedis in market capitalization. So for this to move to maybe a million, it means that my share price should go up significantly from one cedi to 10 cedis. And so if Nana Prempeh 10% shares in my company, at the time that my market capitalization was 100,000, Nana Prempeh was worth 10,000 cedis. Now, if my share price moves up such that my market capitalization is now 1 million cedis, it means with 10% shares in my company, still, Nana Prempeh is now worth 1,000 cedis from 10,000. Why the conversation about companies hitting a certain amount in dollars in terms of market capitalization should excite us. Now, the question is, how do these companies make money for investors to see value in such that the prices of their shares continue to go up, and some companies like Apple, like Microsoft, like Amazon, like Tesla, and until yesterday, NVIDIA, all hit 1 trillion. Simply because of the consumption of products and services. That is why they deliver. It is these profits that now attract investors to put their monies in their shares. So the question, the food for thought right here is, if I should pass this mic around the room to check, what phone do you use? Do you have any phone at all? Does anybody here have a mobile phone like I do? I'm sure majority of us have smartphones. Inside that smartphone, microchips manufactured probably by NVIDIA. Probably the phone you are holding is Samsung or iPhone manufactured by Apple. Question now is, how many shares do you hold in Apple? You have an Apple phone, you probably do iCloud because the memory on your phone cannot contain all, including the ones you are taking here. So therefore, okay. You want to switch? Okay. I just learned something new. Hold the middle part of the mic and the flow is smoother. So Apple is making that much money because 1, we are buying their phones. 2, we watch Apple TV. 3, subscribe to other services like Apple Music. I don't go anywhere without hitting my playlist on Apple Music, right? Google, the mother company is Alphabet. They are also worth over $1 trillion. On my way here this morning, I used Google Map just to be sure I can avoid traffic and get here on time. Every time you conduct any search on Google, Google makes money. But the question is, how much money do you make out of your use of Google? So the conversation today really is about how we can create wealth from our consumption of some of these goods and services. Now, can you, or am I saying that if you came to Standard Chartered today and wanted to buy shares in Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, and so on and so forth, we could sell to you? That is not the case. But leveraging our global presence and our global partnerships, we are able to offer you mutual funds that are originated and managed by some global giants like BlackRock. BlackRock actually are the largest fund managers in the world. They manage over $10 trillion of assets under management. And we are happy to say we have partnership with BlackRock where you can walk into any Standard Chartered branch and buy mutual funds from BlackRock. And we have 9 fund houses, including Franklin Templeton, like Allianz, as you can see on the board. Allianz is headquartered in Frankfurt, Germany. Their sister company, Allianz Insurance, operates very widely in Ghana, and so that is a household name, and so on and so forth. What do these mutual funds do for you? They help you diversify. Like our elders will tell us, you don't put all your eggs in one basket when you're investing. As a country, we are charting very, very unfamiliar territories right now where some of us, including my own self, have some monies that we cannot be too sure when we are getting them back because we invested. Yes, it is a very sad reality. But yeah, we are still on our feet because probably we didn't put all our eggs in one basket. Maybe I have 10,000 locked up somewhere, you have 5,000 locked up somewhere, and we are still moving because we still have the bulk of our money in other places. So when you buy a mutual fund, you've given your money to a fund manager or an asset manager who has the expertise and the knowledge and the experience to manage this on your behalf. And they invest your monies in companies, including, if you can see clearly from the back, this particular fund that we call Allianz Income and Growth, which pays you monthly income in dollars, pounds, or euros, depending on the currency in which you choose to invest. They put your money, 2.47% of your money, whatever money you give to them in this portfolio, is invested in the shares of Microsoft. They invest about 2.26% of your money in Apple. Apple, like I said, became the first company that hit $1 trillion in market capitalization, and this happened on 2nd August 2018. At that point, everybody who didn't invest in Apple will be thinking, where was I when everybody else was buying Apple? But let me tell you something. It didn't end there. Exactly a year and 17 days afterwards. So, 19th August 2019, Apple went from $1 trillion company to $2 trillion. So if on 2nd August 2018, you felt so sorry that you couldn't invest in Apple to benefit from all the upside of the share price, guess what? If you, at that point, invested in Apple on 2nd August 2018, by 19th 2019, you would have doubled your money because the company went from 1 trillion in value to 2 trillion. At that point, if you were still scratching your head thinking, should I not? Is it too expensive to buy at this point or not? Guess what? By 3rd January 2022, Apple went from 2 trillion to $3 trillion. And so the examples exist where, because of our consumption of goods and services and of these companies, these global giants, they continue to deliver very credible returns for their investors. And then the question now becomes, how do you and I benefit from this? So briefly, for today, our conversation is wealth creation is very important. Most of the time, we find ourselves speak about wealth creation and which is very good, in the real economy where we create jobs for people, but also to bring to the other opportunity that exists for you to make some passive income by deploying your excess cash into some of these investments. Like I said, this fund pays you monthly dividends in dollars, pounds, or euros, which works up to about 9% return on your dollar, pound, or euro in a year, which means that you put $100,000 on this fund through the monthly interest, and this interest comes into your account. And so we have clients who come to the bank every month to draw a check to withdraw whatever interest they made from investing in these mutual funds. And we have a tall list of mutual funds. Whatever sector that attracts you, tech, energy, financial sector, healthcare, whatever you are looking for, we have a tall list of mutual funds that can capture your investment objective and so on and so forth. The last one I would want to share with you is another mutual fund, which is from Neuberger Berman. And let me say that every one of the fund houses that we partner goes through a very rigorous appraisal and selection process. Key among the considerations that we put in place before we select or we partner a fund house is the fact that the rating of that fund house must be a minimum of A from S&P. A fund house that will partner Standard Chartered for us to distribute their mutual funds to you must have a minimum credit rating of A from S&P. I don't want to ask what Ghana's credit rating is. Now, so this fund invests in bonds from different locations in the world, including government bonds, US government, Canadian government, UK government, and so on and so forth. So if you look at the area that I have put that red rectangle around, you would notice that this fund invests 44.55% of its portfolio in AAA rated bonds. Bonds from issuers that are rated AAA. There is no bond rated higher than a AAA, right? That is the highest rating a bond can carry. And when I talk about bonds in this era, I'm being very careful because we all know the unfamiliar territories that we're chatting. But when it comes to investing in these mutual funds, again, you are not putting all your money on the credit risk of one institution. They spread the money across, including putting 44.55% of your money on AAA rated bonds, 2.15% is on AA rated bonds, 8.37% is on single A rated, and 20.33% on triple B. And so if you consider that space within that red rectangle, that is the spectrum of bonds that are described as investment grade, where the risk of default is historically 0.2%. Chances of issuers of these bonds to default and say we cannot pay or get into debt restructuring with you are very, 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 very slim. And so this fund invests nearly 75% of its portfolio in top-rated bonds, and it also delivers very outstanding returns to you, monthly interest. So if you have dollars, pounds, euros sitting in an account somewhere that you don't have immediate use for, bring those to us. Speak to anybody in any branch at Standard Chartered that you want to invest your dollars. A certain gentleman calling himself Jerry came to speak to you at Labadi, and he says, if you brought your dollars to Standard Chartered, we could put them in investments that give you monthly interest. They could invest in Apple, Google, Netflix, and all other companies. And so we are most grateful for the opportunity to speak to you. Myself and my colleagues will still be around. If you need us to discuss this in more detail, we are happy to take it up. Thank you so much for your attention.